Hey guys, welcome to Tell Me Everything. This is a show where we sit down, talk to amazing people, and dive into conversations that inspire, motivate, and leave you feeling excited about your own life. Some weeks it'll be stories from people doing incredible things, and other weeks it'll just be me sharing what I'm learning, thinking about, or curious about. All the things that help us grow, laugh, and keep moving forward. We are talking ideas, ambition, friendship, life lessons, and all the little things that make life feel full and interesting. No filters here, no pretending, just good energy, real talk, and the kind of conversation you actually want to be a part of. So wherever you are listening from, in your car, on your walk, or at home, I'm glad you are here. Let's jump into it. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Tell Me Everything. This week, first of all, I want to tell you that this episode is my longest recorded podcast that I've ever recorded since I started this journey. So you may want to hit pause and come back to it just because it's packed with so much greatness. I mean, we go in and out of different topics, and I do feel like all of the topics we discuss is something that's so relatable to so many people. So yeah, it's a long one. It's the longest one I've ever recorded, but I couldn't even delete some because I loved everything we talked about. So anyway, with that being said, I interviewed a friend of mine. Her name is Natalie. We met at the Montana Method. We worked there together for a brief, short time, and I learned so much from her. She also was a teacher when I met her. She loved being a teacher. She loved educating the little ones, and we bonded over that. But what we really are bonding over now is the feeling of burnout and anxiety of not living a life in alignment. So Natalie went ahead and left education. She followed her heart, she followed her dreams, and she listened to her calling, and she just went for it. So she goes over her journey with us, and she kind of talks about where she was at when she was making these decisions, what she did, what she was feeling, and what she's doing now. And what she's doing now is truly living in an alignment, and it shows. It shows through her aura, through her energy, through so much. And I cannot wait until I'm living a lifestyle like hers, because I know that I'm open about it. Like, I'm feeling indecisive about my career, and that is okay. Like, we are all allowed to change up careers, learn different things. I mean, we're humans, and we're supposed to be evolving and learning. So we unpack so much. We unpack limiting beliefs. We unpack old school wiring, like programming, and how to kind of unteach yourself things that we learned as a child. So I'm excited for you to listen to this and follow along. Like I said, it's a long one, and that's okay. You could pause and come back to it. That's totally okay. But this one is a good one. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm Natalie. Thank you for joining me today.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So I know you from Montana Method.
Yeah.
And I've interviewed so many people from the Montana Method community. So anyone who's listening knows very well how much I'm ingrained in that community.
Yes.
But a little bit about you is I know that you and I share that background in education together. Like, you used to be a teacher, and you recently kind of segued out and
Fully switched.
Yeah, and you did a whole lifestyle change, I feel. You were always in health and wellness, but I know that you fully dove into your Pilates certification, and it all just kind of happened fast, I feel like.
It did happen so fast.
Yeah.
So fast. I mean, honestly, I feel like I'm the kind of person that when I don't feel aligned, I truly feel like frustrated within my skin, right? And if there's moments that I feel like that feel like they're lasting too long, I know I need to make a change.
You are very, very intuitive. Like, that's something that I picked up with you from day one. I think you are a witch. Yes, you're a witch. Yes. And so you just know. And one thing that stands out to me about you is you're very confident about it too. Like, you just kind of know. And then I remember one time that you were overloaded with work. You were working a million jobs at this point.
Oh my God, yes.
And I remember you just like, I'm giving something up. I made a concrete decision and you just did it. And you just did it so confidently that nobody can even like sway you.
Right.
And I like that about you.
Thank
It's very
you.
decisive.
Thank you. I think it's more so I know what makes me feel good. I know what makes me feel happy. And if I don't feel like I'm living in my joy bubble, I have to change something.
Yeah.
I honestly, it feels internally like frustration more than anything. And so if I feel like that on a day to day, something's got to give.
Yeah.
And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, so you were always like that as a little girl?
No.
Ah.
I feel like I'm such a people pleaser.
Okay.
And I know it's so funny that you give me that face because like, honestly, I really am. But I will say that like since meeting Tyler, my husband, he really encouraged me to like kind of just be my own person and not really focus my life around other people, where at the time when I met him, it was everything to like please my parents, right? Because like I think that that's also kind of cultural. Where I come from, I'm Colombian, and so it's just always who I've been. However, like it took me a little bit to kind of grow into myself and figure out what I wanted. But once I felt like, okay, I know this is who I am, I was able to make decisions a lot easier and a lot more confidently because I knew what would make me feel good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a process.
I'm sure it's not easy because
No.
I am still struggling with people pleasing. And I think that's just something that human nature, it's going to be something that everybody struggles with for a decent amount of time,
especially if you're like a super empathetic person, which I feel like you are.
Yeah.
And I am too, very naturally. And I feel like because of that, you kind of like take on other people's emotions and you feel them like your own.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like if someone doesn't feel happy, I'm like, okay, what can I do to change them to make you happier? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So yeah, I feel like I was stuck in that.
Or I feel like I'm not saying enough to make the person feel better. So I'm like, shit, how do I solve this for them? And you can't do it.
Right.
Yeah. It really is a challenge for me, which is so funny because I'm a counselor in a school and I'm just like, I have to let this stuff go. Like, I don't know. I can't solve it. And I have to be okay with like a conversation that has some silence in it. Not everything needs to have a solution.
To fill that space.
And fill a space. Yeah. It's like growing pains, but that's so cool that your husband kind of brought that out in you.
Oh, he is the most confident person I've ever met. Like
that's awesome.
Like overconfident, but it's funny because I used to tell him it feels like you're like I don't want to make your head too big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's just like, it's not that my head's big. I'm just extremely confident and I know what I want. And like, it was kind of cool because I'd never met anybody like that.
When did you guys meet?
We met, okay. So it's kind of like a long history. I don't know if you care for me to go into that, but
Okay.
I saw him for the first time when I was 14. I was 14 years old, had a boyfriend at the time, literally was at the South Florida Fair. And I remember that like we didn't go in the same circles, but like people we knew of each other, if that makes sense, right? And so my boyfriend at the time like knew him, so he waved or whatever. And so I remember waving at him and I'm like, he's cute. And then never thought about him again, right?
Okay,
like 2 years went on later.
Right.
And then my girlfriend actually invited me to his house, not knowing that it was his house. She's like, hey, I'm going to a Super Bowl party. And I was like, okay, fun. She goes, do you want to come with me? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll go. And then when I got to his house, I'm like, that's the guy. That's the guy from the fair. And so I literally, all I said was, hi, my name's Natalie. And then didn't talk to him for the rest of the day. Thank you for having me. Goodbye. Never talked to him again.
Okay.
But he told my girlfriend like, hey, I think she's really cute. But I had a different boyfriend, of course, at the time. And he was like planting a seed in her head because he knew. He's like, if I tell her girlfriend, she's obviously going to tell Natalie.
Was he single at the time?
He was.
Oh, he
but
was.
I wasn't. So that's why he was just like, just tell your girlfriend, you know, whatever. So then we ended up talking 2 years after that. So we didn't really
start. A slow brew.
Yeah. I kind of felt like the universe kept putting him in my life and putting him in my life until we were both single and were actually able to do something about it. So we really didn't start dating until 2019, but it was like a 4-year lead up before that ever happened.
He's definitely your person. Like,
oh my God,
feel it.
Obsessed.
Yeah.
Obsessed.
Yeah. Yes. I only know one other person. You happen to know her. Her name is Sam. She goes to Montana.
Yes.
She lives out in Wellington by you.
Okay.
her and her husband have that chemistry that I just feel like they were destined in this lifetime to be together. And I don't think that everybody has that.
No.
I think everybody will find their people. Some people will be multiple partners. I think everybody has a different story.
For sure.
But then when you're around certain couples, you just kind of feel it's the right
It
vibe.
just feels like a good fit.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, no, you guys are definitely it. That's so funny.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad he brought that confidence out in you.
Yeah. Honestly.
Because that's like a superpower now.
It absolutely is. And I feel like that has also driven me to like make scary decisions in my life and not look back.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I felt very confident within myself that it was going to work out.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Yeah. I know. So that I kind of want to start talking about your change in lifestyle. So a lot had happened. Like you bought a house. I remember, and I don't remember it specifically, but I remember like you guys had gotten married. I remember we were talking and all of a sudden you're like, you started posting pictures. You got married. I'm like, wait, why is everything happening so
fast? It happened so fast.
Yeah. And then you guys got the house. So, and then you left education. You kind of just knew. You were like, I talked to my husband and he supports it and I'm just going to go for it. And you were really intentional on like saving money and being calculated. And I feel like you weren't even like punishing yourself in a way where you're like, this much has to get saved or whatever. You would just it was just like a full vision that you had.
It was just a conscious
executing.
effort.
And then you left education. Did you finish out that year?
Yes.
Okay, so that was your last year.
For sure.
Okay.
I knew. So like I battled, I guess, with this thought for a couple years because as most people know, or if you don't know, teachers really don't get paid much.
I know.
It's very unfortunate. And like, even though so in my head, my plan was to go to college, get my degree, start working, and naively, I just felt like everything was just going to work out.
Right.
If I followed that plan. Right. And I quickly found out that like, you really can't survive off of a teacher salary, which is so unfortunate. Like you have to have 2 salaries to live in Florida, no matter what. I feel like no matter what you have to be with a partner, you have to have a roommate. It's very tough to do it on your own. Right. And so because I was not very financially savvy before getting into my now marriage. I went into that marriage with some debt and it wasn't like a crazy amount of debt. It was like $10,000. But at the same time, it was like still something that weighed on us. Right. And like we knew we had to pay that off. So I was just like, okay, well, we have rent. Because at the time we didn't have a house. We have rent, we have our life expenses, and we like to live a certain lifestyle. Like we're not very fancy bougie people, but we like to go out on weekends. We like to have fun with friends, obviously. Of course. Yeah. I do like to travel. Yes. And so like as much as we were like paying off our debt, we were still spending. Right. And so of course I was like, okay, well, I know I don't want to give up my life because I don't want to live to work. That's just never been my kind of personality. No. And I was just like, well, I need to figure something out. Yeah. So then I decided to get a couple other jobs. So I was working at the Montana Method. I was also cleaning offices. And that's what I was doing. So I had 2 jobs plus my full-time job.
And then the Lululemon job.
So that came after.
Okay.
But so yeah. And then I was like, okay, I'm working 3 jobs.
Yeah.
What the did I go to college for if I'm here work slaving? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just felt like so exhausted. At the end of the day, I was probably working like 60 to 80 hours within 1 week. And it was just too much for me. Because on top of like my work, I was actually lesson planning too. So I counted that as work hours because that actually, at the end of the day, it very much is. So I was just burnt out. I was overworked. I was grumpy and I just didn't feel like a happy version of myself. And I feel like that in itself explains the frustration I had within myself. Like I know the person that I am is not really me. You know what I mean? I just feel like I'm in a bad mood all the time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but obviously not wanting to show up like that. So I had like this facade. I felt like a full shell of myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, this cannot go on.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I feel like we live in a country that really values hard work. So when you tell someone I'm burnt out, it kind of sounds like you're lazy.
You're late. I have the
Right?
chills because I wanted to, like, I didn't want to interrupt
Yeah.
you, but yes, and we still do live in a hustle culture.
Absolutely.
So we admire people who are doing a million different things and they're running out of time in their day. We admire that, but actually it's sad because the only person that's suffering is the person that's doing all of this stuff.
Absolutely.
And life is too short to feel burnt out and have high cortisol like that.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yes. So, and for education, because it's really the major career I've had since college, I realized that so much goes into that. And then anything extracurricular, you're kind of asked to volunteer to do. And that bleeds into your afternoon life. And then like, and you get to the point where you stop really wanting to participate in those things. And then you're looked at as not a team player, or you're not really helping out, or do you not care about the kids? And I'm like struggling with that a lot this year. And I still do care, but yes, my interests have changed, and I'm starting to see like what type of life I really do want in the long run. And like this is not really aligning anymore.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like when you start to feel that frustration, it's like, okay, what's not aligning for me? What do I want?
Yes.
What am I willing to give up? What am I willing to change? Right.
Yeah.
You have to start like looking inward at that point, because that's when I think those are like the telltale signs of like, okay,
something's got to
shift.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. So that's what, when you told me you're leaving education, I have student loans. I'm pretty open about it.
Yeah.
So they'll be done this November of next school year.
Amazing.
So I'm like, honestly,
can you stick it out one more year?
I don't know if I could do the whole year, but I'm going to play it. I have to be honest to myself because I've just given this career 10 solid years. So if something comes and it's in the middle of a school year, I am going to do what I have to do, what's best for me. I'm like, I've already had that talk to myself, but if it doesn't, I'll bite it out, of course. But I recently have every day getting up in the morning. It's not a job that I hate. Like I don't hate going in the building. I know that there are people that wake up every day and they like have a physical feeling and emotion tied to it. That's not my experience right now. But my experience is like, I'm running out of time in the day, and then I have to rush, and I have to get a workout in because I'm just that type of person. I know that I need to work out.
Yes.
And then by that time I come home and I'm like, I'm just cooking and preparing for the next day. And then and I just feel like it's not a full life.
It's so quick
and I'm running out of sunlight time, like daylight time, because you're kind of cooped up in a building, and my building doesn't have a lot of window. It's kind of crazy. Like there's a lot of more internal rooms than there are like where you could see like what's going on outside. So I don't know. I mean, I'm very intentional now at work to like go take a walk around my courtyard.
You need that.
I need that too. But there are some people are like, oh, you have ADHD. You just can't sit still. And there's other people that are like, why can't you sit in your office like we're doing? And I'm like, well, because I can't. I don't think it's healthy that you're doing that either.
And you also shouldn't have to explain it.
and I shouldn't have to explain myself. But I always feel like I have to because it's just this, it's the culture in education. I think with AI now and people kind of having that choice over their kids, like I think there's going to be more opportunity to do home ed choices now, and I think people are going to start doing that.
I can see that, yeah.
So I think a lot of public schools are going to kind of see some fluctuations in numbers.
Interesting.
I just feel it in my gut.
I can see that.
Yeah. And I think until the schools get challenged like that, because they drive off of enrollment numbers.
Yes.
So once the schools get challenged like that, things are going to have to take a shift, because you naturally have to adapt to what's going on
in the world.
You know
Absolutely.
What I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, that's in the future, not the tomorrow future. But Until then, I like the culture. I just don't like it. I bring my lunch every day to school. I don't see anybody outside of that world. I also just think the challenges in the education system are so much different than like challenges in my actual professional growth to like make more money or really challenge myself to do something more creative, like bigger than me. Like I really, that's where I'm at right now. I kind of want to do something that shifts my whole life. And I don't think this education world is going to be able to give that.
It doesn't help with that. So question, which is kind of like a sidetrack question, but I'm curious. You have an aura ring.
Yeah.
Do you know your chronotype?
Chronotype is the sleep.
So that tells you like when you're most efficient, I guess, in the day, when you're like
the morning,
when you should be waking up, when you should be going to bed, when you should hit like your REM sleep and all that stuff. Yes. Do you know if you're like a late morning type?
I'm an early morning riser, and I get the most done in the early morning.
In the early morning. And I feel like, so as a teacher, right, you have to wake up extremely early in the morning to get to work. And then you finish off in the afternoon, but they also expect a bunch of like extracurriculars for you to help out with and all that stuff. You specifically, you are most efficient and stuff during the day. Mm-hmm. That's when you're thriving, right? And your full-time job sucks up all of that energy and they're asking for more.
Yeah.
So by the end of it, when your body is like meant to rest, meant to like wind down, that's when you're tapping into your energy to get your workout done,
right?
To go to Montana Method and get work done. You know what I mean? And like your body, at least the way that I would interpret it, probably doesn't like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So like in my head, I would think, okay, how would I try to like shift my work schedule so that I can also honor like my own body and my own activities. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's something I would definitely keep in mind too.
Yeah.
When you're picking out your next venture.
Job. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you have to honor that.
I
know for sure, like I'm not productive at night.
Right.
Like truly, I am a late morning type.
Yeah.
Which late morning is just like 7:30, 8 o'clock is when I wake up.
Right.
And I feel comfortable with that. Before that, I really don't want to be up.
Yeah.
You know, I shouldn't have to be waking up at that time. You know what I mean? And I have now like set a schedule that like I am working from 6 or 7. If I have to go to at 6, I'll make time, but like 7. And then I do a hard stop around 3, unless I'm choosing to work later.
Okay. Yeah.
And then that way I have my late afternoon and evening to wind down because I know like that's what my body likes.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's important to listen to too.
I think it helps, especially for people. I'm similar to you in the nature of like, I like to learn about the human design, the makeup. Like I like learning about those. I think it helps me make better choices. So yeah, and then this also takes me to where you were at when you decided to leave. Like, how did you know you felt called to do something more in the fitness realm of life? Like, what were you? Is that what you knew you were going to do?
That I wanted to do. Yeah. So, I mean, okay. So I am that person that's had a million different jobs, and I study what I do. Right. So like, for example, I did a hostess job when I was a teenager, right? I knew after 3 months in that job, not for me.
Right.
I cannot be in a service industry. I get really frustrated because I am such a people pleaser, and to be dismissed by people constantly really irritated me. And like being brushed off or like insulted, hated that. I'm like, can't be for me. I know it can't be for me. So I knew, okay, goodbye. Not it. So let me go into something else. So I would try and test out different jobs and see what I could potentially be into. And if something didn't feel right, I would leave.
You would just get out.
And honestly, I got a lot of shit for that.
You did?
Yes, because like it doesn't look good to have so many jobs on your resume, this and that. But at the same time, sorry, this is not your life.
Yeah.
This is my life. And
Yeah.
I need to figure out what I want to do,
Yes.
what fits me best,
Mhm.
because I'm not going to stay frustrated for too long. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
So even though it looks insane
Yeah.
to start a job and quit and start a job and quit, I'm quitting for a very specific reason. And I know that this job is not getting the best out of me, right? And so none of the jobs that I tried out felt like me.
Okay.
But at the same time, I really liked working at Montana Method, but I knew I didn't want to be behind a desk. And it's funny because like when I was a kid, I used to tell my mom, like, I don't know how you work at a desk. Like I would die because my mom's an accountant.
Oh, yeah.
And so she would laugh. And I'm like, no, honestly, I think I'd have a mental
it's a part of the culture that like you were taught to go to school, learn something.
Yes.
And then you go and do that for the 30 years.
For however long your life.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah. That was it.
And I can't do that. I can't do that.
No.
And so, and it's funny because my brother's not like that either. He hates being behind a desk. He has to work with his hands. And so him and I both, we knew desk life was not for us. However, I thought maybe teaching would work out for me because being a teacher, your day looks different every day at the end of the day. And you deal with different personalities every year. So I liked the change of that, right? When I have too much structure,
you feel trapped, maybe?
I feel kind of trapped.
Okay.
I feel frustrated. And one thing I've done since probably, honestly, I was 9 years old going to group classes with my mom. Like truly.
Like fitness classes.
Fitness classes. She would take me to Zumba. She would take me to her HIIT classes. Oh my God. She took me all over the place and I loved it.
Yeah.
And it would be like our date night and we would go like twice a week.
Oh, that's so fun.
And go to group classes. Yeah. And I did that forever. And I loved it. And I'm like, okay, so I'm not liking all of these jobs. What do I actually like? What can I actually be consistent with? Because a theme of my life, my mom has always said, you don't finish anything. And I was like, you're not wrong.
Does that hurt your ego?
You're not wrong. You know, I mean, it absolutely did because I'm like, yes, I can. Because in my head, I'm like, I finished college. I finished this. You know what I mean? Like I could.
You're leaving you're the only one that really understands the reason why you're leaving.
I was very conscious of why I was leaving things, right? It wasn't just because I was lazy and I wanted to quit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what have I been consistent with? And the only thing I've ever been consistent with is fitness.
Yeah.
Literally, that's it. Because I'm like you, I can't get through my day unless I do some type of physical activity. It doesn't feel right to me. You know what I mean? I feel like I left something out. So I'm like, okay, well, I could do this. And I remember, and it's so funny because I'm like, Montana, I could be a trainer here. And she's just like, well, I do need you to have a little bit more experience. And I'm like, so I'm like, please give me a job. And she's like, and so I would stay like in the back at, working at the studio, which I loved and I'm so grateful for. And like, it was such a fun community to be a part of, but I knew that's not where I was meant to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, what kind of certification? Because I knew that there was a bunch of different certifications out there in the world. Can I get where I have like the foundation of all fitness? And Pilates was really cool because you got an anatomy aspect of it. You also got to learn how to rehabilitate people. And it's like, it was more physical therapy and learning about the body and learning how to be fully aligned and like moving your spine in every which direction. Like you're only as old as your spine. And I really enjoyed like the philosophy behind it. And I'm like, listen, if I get this certification, I could really branch out and do whatever I want because I understand the body so well. Right. And so I started doing that. I got my certification Pilates, but I kind of just fell in love with it. I'm like, this is really, really fun. You know what I mean? It was fun for me to learn. I also really enjoyed teaching it, which kind of tied back to like my teaching background. Like I was very comfortable teaching
in a room full of people.
Right. I just needed to figure out what was my modality of teaching. And I think that's kind of how I got into that and then stuck with it. As soon as I did it, I'm like, I think this is where I need to be.
It's so funny because when I met you, you were remember it was at the Brick Center. It was the cocoa, a big cocoa market.
Cocoa market. Yeah.
Montana was doing a thing, and you were like, I think I should work here. And you ended up working. I don't know,
funny.
like next
I'm
month
a
you
witch.
ended up, you're a witch. But I remember like we worked together for a couple, maybe a year after. And you always said like you wanted to do something in the fitness world.
Yes.
So when you got into Pilates, it's just like
I just took off with it.
you took off.
Yeah.
Yeah. You weren't even experimenting. It just felt like this is it.
This is it. Well, okay. So of course, living life with a partner, you have to discuss everything. And so Tyler was very, very aware that like I was kind of just sick of teaching and I didn't want to do that anymore. And it was honestly like 2 years. 2 years, I felt like after the first year of teaching, I'm like, okay, I'm done. I have to move on. And that's when I was like pitching myself to Montana. And she was just like, no. And I'm like, all right, fine. But so I said, I'm like, I can do another year. I did my next year of teaching, and I'm not the type of person who would quit in the middle of the year, right? Because I was so accountable to my students. I wasn't going to leave them.
I know, I hope you're not judging me, but I'm a counselor. I'm like outside of
No, you're not in the classroom. I feel like that's a completely different
Yeah,
story.
I mean, it still sucks, but I just feel like I know I do have guilt. We'll see what I even do, but yeah.
Truly no judgment. There is no judgment. That's just how I was processing everything. And so when I fully decided to leave and I was telling people, I'm like, I think I want to open up my own Pilates studio. And I'm like, but I have to take several steps before I get there, right?
Yeah.
I just knew I had like a vision, right?
Right.
And so I was getting my Pilates certification. Come to find out, it's a 600-hour certification, and it takes people typically at least 6 months, to do.
Right.
And so that's 100 hours a month.
Yeah,
it was a lot.
And you were working.
So I was the only way that I could fully commit to that and put my whole heart and soul into that, I had to leave teaching. I had to get a job though, because I couldn't just not work.
Yeah.
So that's why I started working at Lululemon.
Okay.
Because
right.
I'm like, I can have enough flexibility working here while still working on my certification and then figure it out afterwards.
Right.
So that's how I kind of like transitioned it. Was I fully set up to leave teaching? No.
Right.
Did I know that like I had an idea of a plan? Yes. And for me, when I jump, like failure's not an option.
Right.
So I make it work.
Right.
You know? I'm also in a very lucky position. I will say, like, my parents are extremely supportive of me. So is my husband. And I have a head start as far as like, I would just say in life. Right? Because I have that support system, they take away a lot of my fear. They take away a lot of my anxiety, right? I feel like if I didn't have my parents around, or maybe I was single, I would definitely struggle a lot more to make
decisive
decisions like this in my life. Because like, for example, if I wouldn't have been able to pay my half of the mortgage, I could absolutely go to my parents and be like, I need help this month. Truly. And they would help me. They wouldn't even ask me questions. They would be like, absolutely, sure. Because that's like the kind of dynamic that we have. Like if my parents ever needed anything, I wouldn't even think twice about it. I'd be like, okay, yes, absolutely. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I understand that I have an incredible like privilege as far as that goes. So yeah, I just jumped into it.
But I appreciate you sharing that, because everybody has different support systems. But what I really want to highlight is that like you use the word privilege, but I just think you use your resources wisely. It doesn't sound like you're asking your parents every month to get bailed out. You know what I mean?
Not.
So you use your resources wisely, and you're very grateful for the support that they give you. I mean, that's why you are able to make these types of decisions and be successful, because they've taught you, I'm going to support you. And you're right, failure's not an option. So you're going to keep figuring it out until you get what you want, because they believe in you that much. And a part of anybody who else doesn't have, like anybody who doesn't have that decisive partner that you have, like that anchor, like Tyler, it's fine. It's just that it's so important for us all to be around supportive community, community people, a mentor, a strong mentor, because that is what's gonna keep you not stuck in a reality that you don't want to be in, and it's going to keep you moving forward. Like, we're natural human beings, so we all need to grow.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I wouldn't use the word privilege. I think that was the wrong word.
I think I just have a head start.
Yeah,
is
and
how I
that's
see
okay.
it in my head. And I'm very appreciative of that. And I'm very aware of that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's great. That's so crazy. So I'm glad that you went. And now what does your day look like?
Oh, it's different every day.
And it's been a year now out of education?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, maybe even more than that.
Oh, really? That long?
Maybe.
Oh, shit. Time
Maybe.
flies, huh?
Yeah. I can't. Honestly, I'm bad with dates, so I can't even tell you for sure. However, I will say that like my day looks super different, and I think that fits well for my own personality.
Mm-hmm.
So like going back to my teaching days, I was very inauthentically type A.
Okay, yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
So, and I mean that as a teacher, you have to have everything planned out. You have to plan out from the moment you get to work to the last minute of the day during dismissal. You have to have every 15 minutes blocked out and planned.
Yes.
I naturally am not like that.
Right.
I definitely did not fit in with all the other teachers because it came so naturally to them. They were so organized and they had their shit together. Yeah. And I was just figuring it out day by day. So I was probably a lot more stressed out as a normal teacher would be. But, you know, I made it work. It worked in my head because it was organized chaos in my head. Yeah. I liked the different structures of the day that I created for myself. However, here with the life that I have now, it's different every day too, which I really enjoy. Okay. I don't like a super structured day. I have hours of availability, right? Okay. And so I'll say, okay, I'm available from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Okay. And you could book me anytime within that time slot. I'll be available. And then after that, I'm free. That's my day.
So but it could
be,
off.
I could be fully booked from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And that's cool. Mm-hmm. Or I could have 3 clients in a day. And that's cool too. You know, okay, so it's very, very different. And in between clients, if I have a break, it's an hour break because another client's not coming in until the next hour. Oh, yeah. So it's truly, I have a lot of like
space,
work-life balance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's nice. Mm-hmm. I'm jealous of that.
It's honestly something that I did very intentionally. Yeah. I loved it. And it's cool too because like there's some hours of the day that I have to take off because there's group classes going on in the studio. So there's no way to teach privates at that time. So you're forced to take an hour to yourself. And that's where I go on a run. I go for a walk. So typically right now, like I like to have a late morning start. Right. And I wake up around 7:30, get my workout done.
So you do your workout in the morning?
I do my own thing in the morning. Uh-huh. And then I go to work around 10, finish up around 3, depending on what the daily schedule looks like.
A 10 to 3 schedule would really vibe with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I go home. Yeah. And then I go home and then I do like the household, the trad wife things. You know what I mean? Yeah. I grocery shop, I cook, I clean, I do all the things. And then it's nighttime comes by really quick.
Let's talk a little bit. I know. I know. Let's talk a little bit about your home life because you're really good at being intentional of what – it's so funny because what you just said about the teachers, how you're like, I'm not really type A. I never really thought you were type A, but I definitely look at you like she's somebody that has her shit together, like tight, like decisive and like you're always like pretty and well, you know what I mean? I'm like, wow, she never has an off day.
Thank you. I don't know that I agree with that, but I appreciate that.
So it's cool because you just like gave me this insight on you. I'm like, wow, that's like really cool that she's sharing that because I people know when I'm having an off day, like my hair will be like in a bun dangling off the side of my head and I'll just be like, I have a meeting right now. Like, but I can do that because I'm not in the front of a bunch of kids that need me, right? Like I'm able to go to my office. So the two roles in this school are totally different.
Totally
different. Counselor to a teacher.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm so my coworkers know I'm type A and I can't fake it. And then but when I get like when people are talking about like, can you do this after school thing, or and I know I can't because I have Montana Method, and also that's a boundary for me, Natalie, because I make extra money at Montana Method. You're asking me to make this stay from 7.5 hours to 12 hours for free? No.
No, and you shouldn't have to.
I know. So,
but it is so expected of you, and like
very
when
expected.
they don't get the help that they want,
I know.
Oh my God, it looks so bad.
It looks really bad.
It is so frustrating
I
because you should be able to have boundaries for yourself.
Yes. And why aren't people not saying like, wow, you do have a second job, so let's respect that? It's
right.
Like, no, you prioritize this job. And I'm like, this job doesn't pay well. So like I can't prioritize it in the evening time because that's technically my time.
Yeah.
But anyway, I know that's a rant, but I don't know. So you are expected. I don't know really where I was going with this, but
you were talking about type B.
Type B, yeah. But I am a type B person. So like when I'm like, this is spring break, and spring break, I kind of just knew in my mind without even locking in dates and times with people, I'm going to maximize my spring break and just do my podcast interviews this week. Because it's really stressful for me to figure it out when I'm working.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
That's a lot.
But
this is like a third job.
It's like more than I realized what I was committing to.
100%. Yeah. I don't think people talk about that enough.
No.
Social media requires a lot of your time.
It's a full-time job.
It is.
It really is. And then to keep thinking of creative ideas or not, it's so much.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it's fun.
It is so much fun.
Yeah. So I like it, and I like learning. Like you were saying, we'll make a TikTok later. I'm like, well, that's a part of my goals, because I do want to start talking into my screen, just being a little bit more like vocal, me in front of the face of the podcast, because I focus so much on just like launching the podcast and getting people on it that I realize like people don't know what they're following. Like I have do they even know why I started this? So I want to start like putting touches of myself in here.
And you absolutely should. And I feel like the more you show up, the more people are actually like attracted to it. And you don't realize like the people who are watching, like it's so funny because there's a lot of people, like I'll post on my social media and because it's fun for me, right?
Yeah.
But like someone so random will tell me that they've been looking at my social media and they want to come to my classes. I'm like, wow, people are actually looking at this.
Yes. It's kind of wild.
So fun.
When you create those reels, I don't really know where they're going. And they just you could follow the reach and see how many people like are viewing it and stuff. And like, it's usually put it out there and I just it's just kind of crazy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
but I think the more authentic that you show up, the more that you put yourself out there, the more successful it is, right?
Yeah.
Because people are actually getting to know you.
Yeah. Right. And that's what's really important to me at the end of the day. And because I'm also bringing on people that are in my life and they mean something to me. So like we're all shaping each other's lives. So that's the vision behind the podcast. 100%. Like if somebody, like I'm feeling stuck, so I brought you on to kind of talk about it. And I'm sure there's somebody else that's not obsessed with their career and they might need to hear your story because it might just be that light that they needed to hear. And they'd be like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to try it, you know? So sure. I don't know. Anyway, I'm a type B person and I'm even a type B person even with like Montana Method because sometimes when I'm working in that back office, I'm like, I got to get out of this hole. Yeah. Like it feels like a closet. Like it is a closet.
Yeah,
so
it is.
You feel stuck. And Kat will crack up and be like, are you having an ADHD moment? And I'm like, yeah, you're not stuck. You don't feel stuck.
Yes.
Every personality is super different.
It's so different. Mm-hmm. But I feel like, okay, so even understanding what your personality is, like I knew teaching maybe wasn't going to be my end all be all from the jump.
Right.
Because it required so much organization, so much of like being on top of every minute. Right. That came so unnatural to me. Mm-hmm. And I was really, really forcing it. And was in my head, was I a good teacher? Yes. Feedback from students and from their parents, they were giving me that reassurance that I was a good teacher. And I was like, wow, okay, I guess I am doing a good job. But in my head, I wasn't doing a good job because it just didn't feel natural. Right. You know what I mean? I had to put in a lot of effort that like,
it's like
I had to muster up, you know? And I'm like, well, this sucks. because it was
Yeah.
just like creating energy that I didn't have,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And I knew I didn't fit in,
Yeah.
but I wanted to make it work because I felt like at the end of the day, my work was so meaningful
Mhm.
and I loved it. I loved making a difference more than anything.
Yeah.
Right. And like whenever a kid would nail a skill, I'm like, yes,
Right.
I did it. I did it. You know,
Yeah.
like they got it and it clicked. Like the
Mhm.
dopamine hit you get when something clicks in a kid's head. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You really can't explain that.
Yeah.
Especially when someone's parent comes up to you and they're like, I don't know what you did to my child, but they're a completely different human being. And I'm so grateful for you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that
Mhm.
kept me in that field longer than I expected to be in that field.
I totally agree with that.
And
Mhm.
so I felt like it was very, very important. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, it's not feeling like me.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm very much in tune with what I want in my life, who I am as a person, that if it doesn't feel natural, if it doesn't feel right, I got to shift it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I ended up doing.
And I think Pilates is going to help you get even clearer on your why and your decisiveness, because I just feel like once you are moving all day long like you're supposed to be and you get some natural sunlight, you're not in those LED lights over your head. I feel like you just start
difference.
you just start to think clearer. I'm not saying you're thinking unclearly but you're just in a better head state. You know,
for sure.
But
I try to follow joy more than anything. I feel like that is truly what's gotten me to the point where I am now. That and my faith, which is something that's also shifted in my life. I feel very, very like more in tune to my faith, where before I wasn't paying as much attention to it. I knew that I believed in God and you know, like I was doing like the Christmas and the Easter and all those like big holidays. But other than that, I wasn't putting my energy into that. But I'm like, okay, I have to really focus and invest in myself, get myself into a good place and like be true to it. Right.
Yeah.
And so when I was doing my certification, I'm like, this makes me feel really good. This makes me feel happy. And like, I'm enjoying the way my body feels as I'm here. So I'm going to keep doing it. Right. And that's honestly as far as my thought process went, truly. And so as I continued into it, I'm like, okay, I know because I like this so much and I feel so very comfortable doing this, I'm going to make it into a full-time career. I know I'm going to do it. And so as I was working at Lululemon, because the way I sold it to my husband, I was like, listen, I'm going to be getting my certification. I'm also going to work at Lululemon. I got hired on as manager. So I'm like, I can very easily go up the ladder.
Yeah.
Quickly found out I don't want to be in corporate. I really don't.
Are you there anymore or no more?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not. And so I'm like, I feel like corporate life is just not for me. And there's so many different kinds of hards in life. Like it's hard to not do anything, not know what you're doing, and to not have money coming in. It's also hard to work your ass off, figure out what you want, and, you know,
that is so true.
Live your life.
Yeah.
It's hard. No matter what, life is hard.
Yeah.
You just have to pick your hard. Yes.
My dad's going to be so proud that when he hears that.
And so I'm
true.
like, I'm like, okay, so I know I can work my ass off. I've had 3 jobs in the past. I know how to work my ass off and I could do it. Why not do it for myself?
Right.
So when I decided to have Pilates as my job, you're an independent contractor as a Pilates instructor. I am not a 1099 employee for anybody. I really create my own schedule. I work as much as I want. Or I work as little as I want. I need it to be a full-time job. So I'm going to work my tail off as much as I can so that I can just afford my life.
Right.
And so I was just talking to everybody, telling everybody, this is my plan. This is what I want to do. And I think very subconsciously, I was putting it out there in the world because I'm like, some way I'm going to have some type of connection and figure it out. You know what I mean? So I networked a lot, very subconsciously, because if something feels like work to me, I kind of don't want to do it. it's difficult because I have to play mind games with myself.
Yeah.
And so I know I have to put in effort, but I have to do it in a way that just feels like fun for me.
Playing games.
It all has to be fun for me. So, which Tyler would hate because Tyler's like, not everything in life is fun. I'm like, yeah, but it can be. It can be. Right. So I seek joy in everything that I do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like the universe puts you in places where you need to be, whether it's the universe, whether it's God, you're meant to be where you're meant to be.
Yeah.
In that very moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I was taking a certification class with a girl whose mom owns a studio on Palm Beach Island and a Pilates studio. And she was telling me about it and she's like, hey, this was maybe like 2 months after our certification when we finished everything. She texted me. She's like, hey, season's coming up and my mom really needs like trainers at her studio. Would you want to audition? And I remembered her telling me where the studio was. And I'm like, you know what? Like on the island, if I really want to make this a full-time career, I should
be on the
focus on that area,
Yeah.
right? Because they have money actually to go to Pilates classes.
Mm-hmm.
They, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I think this is a sign. Like, I think I need to go and audition for her because I was put in that room with that girl in that certain moment for me to get here.
Yeah, I agree.
You know
with
what I
that.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I just put my all into it and I auditioned. Thank God I got the job. And I was like, okay, great. And so I didn't fully get started until like November. And at the time, it was probably like August. Mm. And so I knew I was going to have a job, but it wasn't going to be immediate.
Right.
So I started, again, talking to Reforming Pilates. I started talking to Club Pilates. I started, putting my resume out everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up working at Club Pilates, Reforming Pilates, and Vault, where I got my certification. I stayed there and then also started working at Squeeze in November, which is the studio on the island. And so as I started getting busier, I'm like, okay, I don't have to work at all of these different studios. What makes the most sense? Mm-hmm. And so because Club Pilates was like the most out of the way, and it was very difficult because I'd have to go from Wellington to Palm Beach Island and like go back and forth. And it was just a lot that I was like, I need to spend most of my time here in West Palm Beach. So I'm going to keep the studios that are closest to each other. That makes the most sense because at the end of the day, I don't want to be stressed out. Right. Traveling from studio to studio. Mm-hmm. And I was warned about that because I was told while I was getting my certification, say yes to everything.
Okay.
Because you need experience, because you need, to work at different studios, figure out what your vibe is. Yeah. 100%. Mm-hmm. So I did. I was saying yes to everything. And then it kind of got chaotic and I can handle chaos. Yeah. I really can. Right. And I'm fine with that until it makes no sense. Anyway.
Right.
So then I was able to leave Club Pilates, which, by the way, that studio, awesome. Mm-hmm. I feel like a lot of like chain studios have like a stigma behind them.
But you liked it?
I really did. Mm-hmm. And I feel like they really do take the time to train their instructors. They have a really great group, a really great community.
But yeah.
I was sad to leave it actually. Oh. But it also freed up more time for me to work more hours where I needed to be.
Right. So now where do you find your, like, where are you mostly now?
So full-time, I'm at Squeeze.
Okay. Full-time at Squeeze.
Yes. But I also work at Vault and Reforming Pilates.
Oh, so you're at 3 places.
Mm-hmm. But thankfully, they're all within 10 minutes of each other. Mm. It's like a triangle. Yeah. So I can bounce back and forth if I needed to. But the way that I work it out, ideally, I'm at 1 studio per day.
Yeah.
So that way I'm not having to run around. Mm-hmm. However, now my toxic trait is, hey, are you available at this time? I'm like, I can make it work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You are a go-getter too.
I'm like, sure. So
my toxic trait.
So yeah, I say yes to a lot, but like I'm saying yes to things that also make me really happy.
Right. So it's like, it's good.
It feels good.
Right.
It doesn't feel draining.
Right.
I feel very well balanced.
Right.
And that's where I feel like I'm okay.
Yeah.
Even though I'm super busy, I
Yeah.
love that I'm super busy
Yeah.
because it's something that I'm actually enjoying. You know?
What are your days off?
So I only have Sunday off.
Mm.
But it's not too crazy because it's not like I'm working 40 hours in a week. I'm not working that.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I've gone from working 60 to 80 hours in 1 week. Now I'm working less than 40. And I feel very good.
Yeah.
I feel comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though I am working 6 days out of the week. Like Saturdays, for example, I have 5 hours open. So I start at 8, I'm done by noon, and I have the rest of my Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but so I wouldn't mind even working 7 days a week if I have most of my hours to my life
Yes.
back. You know what I mean? Like because I do think we live in a world with access to our emails all the time, our text messages. You're always going to be working, even if you're not at work, clocked in, or whatever the method is at your job. You're still connected in a way. So I would be fine working 7 days a week, quote unquote, but the fact that like you could get the whole rest of your day after whatever time that is, you know, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm still okay. I'm okay with that. I know not everybody is.
Not everybody is, and that's absolutely fine. But like, yeah, you have to do what works for you as a person. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, nobody else matters but you. You know, you're the one living it.
Right. I remember like Montana said that, or maybe it was Kat, I can't remember, but one of them was like, you can't work 7 days a week at your real job and then work Saturday and Sunday, because at the time we needed somebody to kind of fill in. I think it was like when you were leaving back in the day. And I'm like, why? I'm telling you, I can do it. Like I'm not, because working at Montana Method doesn't feel like work.
No, it doesn't.
Like it really doesn't.
Yeah.
It's like
it's
my
so
best friends
fun.
are like good community people there, like-minded people are there. I just enjoy the music's great. I don't know. I like moving my body. I don't feel like working out is a chore. So I'm always learning there.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So that never feels like work. But I will tell you, one time I left the school building. This is in the beginning of the year when I feel like you're talking so much in the school building.
Yes.
And then I went into Montana Method to work my Monday shift. And I'm like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't have energy for this.
Yes.
So that's when working 2 jobs in one day starts to feel like another friggin' task.
Yes. Yeah. Another tall tale was, it's so funny you mentioned that, because I would go home and not want to have any conversations after work.
Yeah. And then Tyler wants to check in 100%.
And I'm like, I'm done.
Please.
Over it.
Yeah.
Over it.
You know.
Yeah.
I know. It's so crazy because without you even realizing it, once you shifted your job, it probably changed the home life dynamic.
100%.
So much.
And you know what, too, now that I'm like thinking about it. So my family, in our lineage, we have anxiety and depression. I knew that was something that like was probably going to come up in my life.
At some point.
At some point. Okay. My grandma, actually, so she lived with us till she passed away. So I lived in the same house with her for 20 years.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just about. And so she had really severe depression and anxiety. And so like I remember seeing how like she was living her life, and I'm the kind of person that like I don't need to experience something to learn from it. I can see that it didn't work out for you, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? I learn from other people's experiences, and I feel like that's one of my superpowers. Yeah. And I was going to therapy. I was doing all the things, which I also feel like did help a lot with my confidence as well. But I don't struggle with that anymore, like at all. And I do feel like it had a lot to do with, yes, my therapy and all the work that I put into myself. At the same time, I feel like my entire lifestyle changed for me to feel me pursuing that happiness that I was telling you about. Like I live in my own joy bubble. Yeah. And I don't stray from it. Yeah. I really don't. And because I do things that only make me feel good, I surround myself with people that only make me feel good. Like I just feel very aligned. I thankfully don't have those mental health struggles anymore. Yeah. And I feel like that was all the difference.
Wow. Yeah. And I definitely would say it sounds like you're living in full alignment now.
I fully feel that way. I fully do. I'm obsessed with all of my friends. I think they're incredible people, and I learned from all of them. And I love my husband. I love my marriage. I feel like our home life is so sweet and comfortable,
Yeah.
and like I cannot wait to go
To
home.
get home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's such a special place to be.
Mhm.
You know, I love
Yeah.
my family. I love my parents. Like everything I have, it feels right.
Right.
And
That's amazing.
That's all I want in my
Yeah.
life.
Mhm.
I can't really ask for more.
No.
You know?
I agree. Those are like the virtues.
Yeah.
Totally. Like the standard for sure.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
Truly. And thank you.
You're welcome. What would be an advice you would give to somebody? Like, I don't know if you have anyone in your life or maybe somebody that's listening, if they're want some change, like what are some, were there fears involved? Like, how did you feel when you were transitioning? I know that you said that you had a great support system, so they kind of like stripped the fears away from you.
Yeah.
But is there any advice or words of wisdom you could share with somebody that is like, I think about this all the time. I just got to do it, but I'm scared.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess first I would say listen to yourself. Listen to your body. I think your body responses are crazy because the more you put off your own thoughts, the more your body starts to show you physical signs of misalignment. And I feel like that depression and anxiety and all that stuff, like, have you ever, and this is like kind of off topic, but like, have you ever heard of somebody saying like, I try to get pregnant so much and then I've stopped thinking about it and then I finally got pregnant?
Wait, yes. And I've never been pregnant, but like I said that, like I say that to people.
Yeah.
And I know it comes from like the people probably looking at me like, okay. But I'm always like, you're so in your head about it. Get out of your head.
Yes.
And I know that people say like, you know, when you're trying to conceive, I don't think I'm health conscious. So I don't like enjoy drinking but I like I enjoy having fun.
Yeah.
But I was talking to a girl and you know, they were trying and she's like, she won't even have a drink and she's just so focused on it. And I'm like, have a drink.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like loosen
okay.
up. Like I really think when you do something with like a positive energy, things loosen up and like kind of operate and just formulate, you know?
For sure. You let your body relax and natural course will take its way, you know?
I'm so happy you said that because I think the same way.
That's huge. That's huge. So like my physical body was giving me a lot of signs of you're not happy. You know what I mean? So listen to yourself. Absolutely. Listen to your thoughts. And if you're not listening to your thoughts, listen to your body because it'll tell you when something's wrong. And so I feel like that's number one. Two, do you feel frustrated? Do you feel more depressed? Like I feel, okay, I know it sounds so silly that like I follow joy, but like I really think that's like a cheat code kind of because you should be happy. You should fully be happy. And if you don't feel that kind of joy every day, something is misaligned.
Yeah.
You know? And so be honest with yourself. Are you unhappy? What do you need to change? And how can you go about it? So with me, because I am a type B person, I know, okay, I cannot follow a step-by-step plan. It's not for me. I will get stressed out and I'll stop. I know myself. And so I'm like, okay, I want to stop teaching. I want to go into Pilates. How do I do that?
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to finish out this year. I know I want my certification. I also need a job. Let me get a job in something that I would have fun at.
Right.
Fitness clothes. Lululemon, fun. I get a cool discount. Yay.
Right. Look at how your job's all aligned.
Right.
Like but the fitness also to the fitness clothes to
following things that made me happy. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, fun. I get to like play with clothes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
and you are like a fashionista.
I love fashion. I really do. And am I the best at it? Probably not.
No, you're good at it.
But I have so much fun doing it. And I wear things that make me happy. Right. And so anyways, following what makes me happy and then figuring it out as you go, I feel like is so kind of like frowned upon, but like that's what worked for me. You have to listen to yourself. If you're a very type A person, you need a structured plan. Go for it. Do that. If you're like me, take it step by step. because I originally said I want to open my own Pilates studio.
Yes.
And Tyler is an engineer brain, a type A person to the T. And he's like, great, how do we get you into your own studio? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, hold on. I just got my certification. You have to like give me a second.
Quick little pause because I want to share something I genuinely use and love. If you've been listening for a while, you know I'm really intentional about my health, my sleep, my nervous system, just all of it. And one brand I've been falling in love with is Bond Charge. I do have an affiliate code with them, which means I may earn a small commission if you use it. So thank you in advance for supporting the show. I have their red light mask and I use it pretty much every single night. Honestly, if I skip it, I truly feel off. It's become part of my wind down ritual. I'll turn it on, I'll set it for 30 minutes. That's the max. And I usually play a guided meditation while I'm using it. It helps me just relax, regulate, and transition into sleep. And the results, I really do notice a huge difference. My fine lines look softer in the morning. My skin has that dewy glow. It just feels like part of my holistic well-being at this point. I also use their blue light blocker glasses. I put them on when I get home from work, especially as the sun is setting. It helps my eyes just adjust to a dimmer light and not stay so overstimulated from the bright lights and bright screens, which really supports my sleep. And their red light wand, that's what I started with. Now I pack it whenever I travel so I can still get my red light therapy in whenever I'm not home. If you want to try anything, the mask, the glasses, the wand, you can use code TME15 for 15% off. I'll link everything in the show notes. Thank you for supporting the brands that support this show.
Sorry.
Type A.
Yeah, he's fully type A. Okay, so he was telling me, he's like, okay, great. How do I get you into your own studio? We need to start your own business, blah, 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 whatever. I'm like, hold on, you got to give me a second because like I just got my certification. And if you go into a new field, which I feel like I'm an expert in because how many jobs have I had? 1 million. You have to go in super humble and go into everything as a student. At least that's what's worked out in my own experience. I learn from everyone around me. You know what I mean? Like I will take little bits and pieces. Like my Pilates mentor is such a freaking wealth of knowledge that every time I'm around her, I'm like a sponge. I'm like, what is she doing?
What's her name?
Her name's Lauren Small.
Oh, okay.
She is the most incredible person.
Yeah.
Yes. She's just truly
because she did a bar certification too.
Yes.
She's
as a person.
fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I love her. But like, okay, so I feel like I'm not fully prepared to start my own business because I want to know everything about everything before I jump into that kind of commitment.
That makes so much sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I want to be the best instructor, the most knowledgeable that I could be before I go into something like that. So like right now I'm in the headspace of like, okay, I've been in this for about a year now. I'm still learning and I do learning workshops every day.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Oh, wow.
Like when I do my own workouts, I'm typically learning from other Pilates instructors. Like I have a Pilates Anytime subscription and it's so cool because it's 15 years worth of content of different Pilates instructors teaching you classes.
Oh, wow.
And they're sharing their wealth of knowledge.
Right.
So every morning because I'm grateful enough to have a reformer at home that Tyler got me so I could practice. Like it's actually really cool because he's that supportive that he's like, I'm going to buy you one so you could practice at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I work on the reformer. I go into vault and I practice. I put on a video. Okay. I say every day, like 5 times a week, 5 times a week. I do this and I learn from different people and I continue to do that until I feel comfortable to take on the next step. You know what I mean? I do take things step by step because I like to do things correctly. As much as I do feel like I'm a scatterbrained person and I like chaos, this is my career at the end of the day, and I want to make smart choices.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like right now I'm ready to open up my own Pilates studio. Do I see it maybe one day in my future? Yeah, maybe. But at the same time, I'm so happy right now. I don't want to rush this phase. You know what I mean? I think like definitely take things step by step and do what feels true to you, because whatever works for me might not work for you. You know what I mean? What works for you might not work for me.
Yeah.
And so I feel like in my advice to people, do what feels right to you.
Okay.
And follow that. Follow your joy and then put 100% of your energy into it, and you're going to do great. You have to be consistent. You have to be committed.
Yes.
Yes. And then it has to make you happy at the end of the day. Like my dad, truly, I owe a lot of my own like sense of self and personality to him, because he is just the happiest person. And I literally have "Go Live" as a tattoo on my hip.
What does that mean?
It's so funny. It says "Go Live," right?
Who's live?
Live.
Oh, live your life.
Yeah. And so it's funny because like when I was a kid, I would ask my mom, can I go outside? And my mom would be like, no, you were outside yesterday. Why do you have to go back outside? Like truly my mom, so strict. And it was so funny. Like I talk about my childhood and you would think I was in jail, but like that's like a very normal Hispanic household.
Do you know that there's this funny comedian. He's a male comedian, young male, but he's so funny. I think he's Colombian. I have to share it with you.
Oh, please.
I don't know where he's from, but he is so funny, and he will make skits about his mom being so strict.
Insane. Insane. It sounds like you were in jail, truly. But like
but that's what he'll say.
So then I would go to my dad. I'd be like, Dad, can I go outside? He's like, go live, mommy, be free. And like they had totally, completely different personalities. And I'm like, okay. And everything I talk to my dad is like such a passionate person. So whenever I would tell him anything, I'm like, I'm going to go rollerblading. He goes, mommy, do it with your whole heart. Do it with your whole heart. And it's like, it's so funny to think about it. But this is the way this man lives.
Yeah.
Like he truly, my dad will do everything with his whole heart.
Oh, I love that.
It's so fun. And so like now I feel like I do things that feel true to me with my whole heart.
With your whole heart.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's truly like how I live my life. So I owe a lot of that to him.
Yeah. He sounds like a very passionate person.
Oh my God. The funniest.
Go live. I love that. Go live,
mommy. Like full send. He is that full send person. Like, okay, just a quick anecdote, but my dad is very like, has the squintiest eyes, very tan. He could pass for Hawaiian.
Oh, he can.
Filipino, like Thai, anything. You ask him where he's from. He's like, where do you think I'm from?
So he goes with whatever somebody thinks.
Literally.
No,
I swear I caught him speaking whatever the fuck he was trying to speak because someone thought he was Thai. And so he starts talking gibberish.
He sounds so fun.
Oh my God. He's so embarrassing.
Does he crack your mom up?
No, she actually hates it. She is so embarrassed by him, but it's the funniest thing ever. And he just goes with it. He's like, okay, yeah, that's where I'm from, blah, 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 whatever. And he'll give you a whole backstory. Yeah. Like fully Colombian.
I love that. That's so funny.
No, it's the best.
It sounds like you got a good mix of both your mom and your dad.
Oh, for sure. She is my type A queen.
Yeah.
Actually, no, now that I'm getting older, she's fully type B, but she has a really good type A front. I know that she is. Now that as an adult, you can actually look back and like really assess your parents.
Yeah.
She's fully type B.
So funny. So funny.
And so is my dad, which creates a mess of a kid.
Yeah, but your dad, it creates a fun, creative kid.
Yeah.
That is so funny. I feel like we covered so much because like I really want to have you on my podcast just to talk about like lifestyle change and to be brave and courageous and follow your heart and your flow. And I'm truly, I'm very in touch with my spirituality side. Like I'm not afraid to get woo woo with somebody.
Me too. I love the woo.
Me too. Me too. You're a witch.
Yeah. No, literally.
Yeah. So I feel like I really think you have like powers. But I follow my own intuition too. And when I don't, I get really upset because I knew it in my gut.
Yes.
So I have been struggling in the past with it's like worse than people pleasing. It's like going outside for like validation and like
Mhm.
answers. So if I would like this podcast, I didn't start it for 2 years because some people gave me mixed reviews on if they thought I
It
could
was a
do
good
it or
idea
whatever.
or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I listened to that and I don't like that. That's why it's really good that you have a support system
Mhm.
because it matters when
It
it
does.
matters when you're not getting like the feedback that you want and how you make decisions in your life.
Yeah. And I feel like that's a lot of like ego, and ego protects you at the end of the day. So like if your ego is saying, oh, this might be a bad decision, you don't do it because at the end of the day, you're protecting yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Yeah. I
But
hate the ego thing.
the ego, okay. Do you follow Mystic Michaela?
No.
Okay.
She sounds cool.
She's so cool.
Do you follow To Be Magnetic?
No.
There.
Okay, so we'll switch.
Yeah.
We'll follow each other's inspos.
Yeah.
But she says like, fuck, I lost my train of thought.
Ego.
Yeah, ego. Ego is a very 3D feeling. So it's a feeling that we have here on earth, but it's not something that like we were meant to feel in the universe. You know what I mean? So like your spirit, I guess I should say, your spirit is like 5D. Here we live in the 3D. And in the 3D, your ego, is meant to protect you. And like you do listen to outside voices and things because your ego kind of conforms to whatever society is doing, society is. And that's okay. But society doesn't always align with who you are as a person.
Yes.
And so you can't always listen to that.
I know.
You have to listen to your own spirit, your own gut, because you know what you want to do. You know what I mean? No one else knows what you want to do. And you know what you would be good at. And you are good at this because you are so good at like listening and communicating with people and like really just having a genuine connection with somebody. And I feel like that's what we need more of in the world, you know? So I'm glad you actually stepped out and started this because we need more of this.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It actually started to get so uncomfortable that I was ignoring my push to do it. That was creating anxiety too. So
absolutely,
everything you shared in the podcast by following your heart and just kind of going for it. And then you're the proof of it works out, like just trust is like it me now because I'm like, when you're going against something that you know you want to do, it turns up in your body and it's not a positive feeling.
No.
Because you're ignoring something. Like you're ignoring something that's really important to you.
Yes.
It's
all to say.
Thing.
So I talk a lot about like, I manifested this or I want to manifest this or whatever. But I actually shared a video yesterday on my story of like none of that will work out without hard work behind it. You know, like absolutely dream, absolutely think about what's going to make you happy in life, but like work for it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm not sitting here saying I want to be a Pilates instructor, getting my certification and then calling it a day and working. Yeah. I literally put an effort multiple times in a week to better myself, to become a better instructor so that I can continue to flourish in my career. Right. You know what I mean? And then also looking at the way that people run their businesses, is that something that I want to do? Because I know that corporate's not for me. So do I want to actually own my own Pilates studio? I don't know.
But you said though, remember you giving the story about your grandma? You learn from other people's decision making. So you see what works, what doesn't work. I'm going to use Montana for me as like an example here. I mean, can't compare. Like I'm doing a podcast. She has a studio, but how it's such an organic brand. It's not another fitness studio couldn't really copy it because it's so her.
It's so
you know
her.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And because I work there and because I've seen her prove to us that just create something. I know what I was doing. I was doing it with my friends in my garage and now it just keeps snowballing.
Yeah.
Like reinforces the fact that like just keep doing what you're doing with your podcast and it will eventually just your flavor is going to come out. And now when I look at how like her socials, I'm like, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
you know what I mean?
Yes.
And for the business aspect, and I'm bringing her up because she owns the studio,
Right.
but like you want to be studio owner. So I just feel like you're going to work at so many places and you're going to have so many different clients that you're going to know what type of rules and regulations and policies you want to put in place.
For sure.
And you've already said you learn from other people.
I absolutely do.
So that's such a good thing too.
Yeah.
And I think it's another good thing to be aware of the ego, and you already, because our ego's meant to protect us, but it's the one that hurts us the most. True. And I think because it keeps you small.
True.
And I think small means safe to the ego, you know, but it doesn't. So I said TBM because they talk about ego deaths. Like, like you're so aware of this cycle that you're no longer affected by it anymore. So that's like you putting that ego to death when it comes to like that. And it will, you know, things just cycle in your life. So but yeah. And
so interesting.
Yeah. So I'm trying to be conscientious of that and just living truly through my heart. Yeah. And I think you're right. I think it all just
things will align.
Yeah.
Things will align for sure. And okay, so I listened to an interview of with Jane Fonda on Call Her Dad, actually.
Oh yeah, Alice Cooper. Yeah.
And so I remember her talking about like just feeling uncomfortable and misaligned until she got to her 60s.
Wow.
And
she didn't chill.
Right. And she didn't start feeling like spiritually aligned with herself or like doing things that truly made her happy until her 60s. And she's probably in her 80s now.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot of life to live.
To not live in alignment.
To not live in alignment. And
to live for other people or whatever. Yeah.
That line in itself truly caught me so off guard. And I was like, whoa, that's not going to be me.
Yeah.
100%. And that was like another learning moment in my head. And I was like, I'm not going to make decisions for anybody else but myself.
No. I told my dad that because my dad is a big cheerleader for me and for all of us. And there's a ton of us, but, you know, he always said, you want to be educated. You always want your own money in the bank. You don't want anybody making decisions for you or putting yourself in a shitty situation. And I take those words really strongly and I make decisions off of it. Like I got my career. I always wanted to have I always wanted to be a skilled worker. Like I never wanted to not have skills, and which is important to me. And now that in this career, and I'm like, Dad, I probably shouldn't have even went into education. Like I probably could have figured it out, like and been still successsual. But you know, back in the day, having your degrees was like
it was important. It was necessary.
Yeah, it was necessary. Yeah. So now that I'm coming up on the 10-year, I'm like, that I'm just going to be letting you know what I'm doing, and I'm not going to go based off of what you think I should be doing.
Yeah, because
anymore.
It's changed.
Yeah.
Life has changed so dramatically. Like you really don't need a degree to be successful. But like I was also brought up in that, and my mom was pushing me to get my business degree because she's just like, Nat, you're never going to go wrong with a business degree. You can do anything you want.
But I agree with her, but I also, I'm seeing these young little entrepreneurs that are like developing apps or just making the right TikToks.
Because they're following their heart.
Because they're following their heart, and the business degree isn't what's taking them to do it.
Right.
So I'm in my following my heart era.
You have to. You have to. God gave us all specific skills, talents, gifts. Absolutely. You just have to figure out what they are. And I'm not saying that that's easy, because it's definitely not.
Yeah.
That in itself is a whole journey of figuring out what you're good at, what you enjoy doing, right? But then once you have that, run with it.
Yeah, I agree.
Run with it, because that's how you figure out what you should be doing with your life.
Yeah.
You know?
So true.
100%.
And then that's when that motto comes. I never feel like I worked a day in my life.
Right.
Yeah.
Truly. Like so at the end of my classes, I do like intentional breathing, and I caught myself, I told Tyler this the other day, and it was just so sweet because I have them inhale gratitude for their bodies, gratitude for being able to take an hour for yourself throughout the day. Like that is such a huge deal. It's incredible. And then exhaling anything that no longer serves you. And while I was talking to them, I was just like, you know what? I have to thank you guys so much for just showing up to my classes, because you truly allow me to have the best job in the world. And I'm like, I never thought I'd ever say that in my life. You know what I mean? Like I never was like super excited to go to work, but like I truly enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
And that's where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
I can't ask for more. And it's so interesting because like going back to my dad, he has always told me, he's like, you're going to be the president. And I'm like, I don't want to be the president. Like I've never wanted to be like a big boss. You know what I mean? I never wanted to be like a big CEO. Like none of that felt important to me ever. And so, but a special thing that specific line did was tell me internally, I can do whatever I want. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like my parents do believe that I could do whatever I want. You know what I mean?
Like there's no limitations for you.
And when I was in college, I actually majored in sociology. I never ended up getting my education degree. I worked at a private school, but all of my prereqs were in education. And then I ended up switching because life events happened and I needed to graduate a little bit sooner than having to take an extra semester for my internship. So I completely changed that. But in that sociology major, I learned that a lot of the ways that people talk to you as a kid or outside factors, like to really internalize in your body.
Yes.
And manifest in ways of self-esteem.
Yes.
And the way that you see yourself and, you know, self-image and all of this. And I had to run and tell my dad, I'm like, you did me such a wonderful service telling me that I was going to be the president, even though I'm like, I don't want to be the president. You know, I was over here like, no, ew, you know, but he was just like, yes, mommy, but I meant, he's like, I meant you could be the boss of whatever you wanted to do. And I'm like, he was like, you could be the president of whatever you want to do. And I'm like, that's really cool. Cause it really gave me the confidence of saying I could be whatever I want and just going for it. There was never like doubt in my head that I couldn't do something.
Yep.
I just had to work hard enough to get there. Yeah. So I think that that's extremely important too.
Yeah.
The way you talk to yourself, you have to build yourself up.
You have to.
You have to.
And I think I want to just touch on that because I started EMDR therapy.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of that?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. And I started it only because I'm super self-aware and the talk therapy, I'm just like, I'm just like, okay. Like I do this with my friend, you know what I mean?
Yes. Okay. I honestly, talk therapy didn't help for me either. And that's why I went into neurofeedback, but I want to hear about your EMDR.
Neurofeedback. Okay, cool. Yeah. So EMDR, and now we're finally like, we're in the meat of it and I got a little testy with her. I'm like, oh my gosh, she might fire me. But no, she didn't. But you basically, you don't do much talking with your therapist. You create a timeline with them about like situations and you go all the way back to childhood. Birth, if you remember your like birth story. Like some people don't have pleasant birth stories, and that too can affect like how you are and like because you keep the trauma in your body. You don't know, you know how to like, you know, I believe in all that stuff.
Me too.
So, so we created a timeline and we went age by age by age. And now we're still working through childhood. And I'm like, I'm past this now. I'd like to move on to my teenager, maybe 20-year-old self.
Yes.
But it's really cool because, and I have to say, this is how I know I have a confident therapist that's really good at it, because she was like, you're giving me, you're supposed to rate on like a scale of 1 to 10 how this is coming up in your body. And I'm being honest, like I'm telling her what number, and she's like, no, it's not low enough. This is still affecting you. And I keep going back and we do these cool sounds. I do it auditory because I found that when I was visually looking with my eyes, like it's like watching a ping pong ball going from this left to the right.
Yeah.
I was doing this 1, 2, 3, 4 because I also have ADHD, so I wasn't really getting into like the memories. So we do it listening. So I close my eyes and I just listen to a sound that goes from my left ear to my right ear, my left ear to my right ear, and sometimes she'll switch it and do right to left.
Okay.
And it's supposed to stimulate both sides of the brain, both hemispheres, and to like clear that way of thinking, like give those neuro pathways different ways to like process the emotion. But now that we keep going back to this reference of my childhood, I'm like, different things keep popping up. I'm like, that's interesting. That's she why knows I'm not done.
Yeah.
But I'm I fixate. So I'm like, well, I need to know like what date do you think this is going to be done? She's like, it's a process. But what's cool is I'm feeling it in my body, the change, and
that's amazing.
And it's snowballing. So like that event happened in my childhood. So I made a lot of decisions into my adulthood based off of like belief systems that was connected to. And because I'm changing that even in childhood, I'm able to talk about these stories and not feel so anger. Like I could tell by the way I'm talking about these stories with other people, like my friends or my family. And I'm like, oh, I used to give a shit. So I used to give such a negative shit about this. And now I'm like, I'm okay about it. And that's really the whole mission behind it.
That's amazing.
So it's not like she's talking to me, giving me advice or anything. She's kind of just like, okay, and what came up for you? And I'll tell her like, I feel anxious about it. And then she'll write down, she'll be like, okay, go with that. And then I go back into the sounds and I just keep going on a journey.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I feel like everyone needs to find their own modality of therapy because like you said, I felt like talk therapy, at least for me, like my depression and anxiety, I was like, okay, I can talk to you and tell you exactly what's making me anxious, what I'm feeling depressed.
So I know.
Yeah, but I still feel the same way even after I tell you the story. So I don't understand what this is supposed to do.
I know. I agree. I think it's really good talk therapy for those that don't realize that they have patterns in their life or certain cycles. So I think it's good for somebody else to bring attention to that.
Absolutely.
But when I'm already figuring it out, I'm like, I don't want to talk about this anymore because I'm staying stuck. So that's why I made the choice to do a different modality. And EMDR, I like it. So I love seeing a change. So I don't want to stop.
Exactly. If you see progress, you have to stick with it.
Yeah. What's neurofeedback like?
Oh, neurofeedback. I'm so obsessed with it. So like you, I couldn't talk.
Oh, I saw you do TikTok. I think you made a TikTok about this.
Yeah. So so they hook you up on your brain. They put a bunch of like sticky pads on you, right? You get put inside of a dark room. You look at two screens. One screen I really don't pay attention to. That's all of my like brain waves and all of that. I don't know how to read it, so I don't pay attention to it. Then they put on a movie, Netflix show, whatever it is that I want to watch. I was literally watching Love Actually.
Oh my gosh.
During my session. And they put a black screen over it. And in the background, there's an oboe sound.
Okay.
So when your body or when your brain is processing information in the way that you naturally do it, and for me, I was very anxiously thinking about things or like really low in my head. I'm like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
So whenever I would get those kinds of thoughts, the screen would go dark and I would stop hearing the oboe sound. I kind of felt like a lab rat. And so my brain automatically knew something's wrong. Change it. Change thought process. How does my brain do this? I have no idea.
But it's because the screen was changing on you. So you knew.
That's the only way I knew. Wow. And I stopped hearing that oboe sound. But then as soon as I start to hear the oboe sound, the screen starts to light up. My brain's like, good job. And then it keeps it on, right? And so my brain's doing the work. And it's so interesting because your brain's a muscle. And the way that they explained it to me was if you continue to work out that muscle, and I was course correcting that thought process over and over again. And I was doing this like every other week I was going to neurofeedback. So I was continuously working out that muscle. Your brain stops to process information in anxious ways. Your brain stops processing in depressive ways. I have not had a panic attack. I have not had depressive thoughts in over 3 years because of this therapy specifically. Wow. And because of all of that, I think I was able to live authentically myself.
Oh my God.
It was truly the best thing I ever did.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was so depressed. Tyler lived with me through like a really rough depressive episode for over a year. And it was like, he didn't know if he could continue and I didn't know if I could continue. I wanted to literally off myself. Like it was bad.
Wow.
I would have panic attacks where I would just have to go like literally crawl in a hole and just like cry and just freak out. And I felt like I couldn't breathe. And I don't know if you've ever seen White Chicks.
The movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know how they were in the fitting room and the girls like talking about Tina the talking tummy, and then one of the girls was like, I'll get help, Oprah, Dr. Phil, or like whatever. Literally, I felt like that was Tyler. He didn't know what to do, but he knew he needed to get help in some way. It was so funny because he's like calling my mom, like, Doris, what do I do? Like he had no idea, but I was freaking out.
Right.
I was Tina.
Right.
So I at that point knew I needed to fix something.
Yeah.
Or else I was going to lose the person who made me the happiest. You know what I mean? Who was trying his hardest to be so supportive, right? And so like that, I guess, was like my motivation to get into it and ask him. I am a different person completely than I was back then. And it's all thanks to neurofeedback. And
how long
it's
did you
so
do it
cool.
for?
So I did like intensive, like once a week. Then I went to every 2 weeks. Then I went to once a month. Okay. For like 6 to 8 months.
Is it expensive or does insurance?
It was pricey. Insurance didn't cover it. Oh. It was like $125 per session. Okay. And like that's not like a crazy amount of money, but it does add up the more consistently you have to go. But the way that I saw it was like, listen, this is an investment in my health, and I just have to.
Well, it gave you positive results. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to do it. You don't see those results right away. Oh. So you have to like commit. Yeah. You know, but like after 2 months, I started seeing a difference, like a big shift. Yeah. And I even told them like, I have like I have a stutter. And they're like, what are you talking about now? You know, like I would tell everybody I have a stutter. I'm like, I know I have a stutter. And they're like, no one agreed with me.
Was it in your head?
It must have been in my head, but I'm like, I'm processing so much information in my brain, but it's not coming out the way I wanted to. And I stumble over my words, and I'm not speaking confidently. I'd rather just not talk, honestly, because nothing's coming out the way that I want it to come out. And so they're like, first of all, that you don't have a stutter, it's a social anxiety issue. Oh, okay. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize that. And they're like, absolutely a social anxiety issue. Wow. I could tell you, I haven't thought that I had a stutter in like over 3 years.
So it changed that.
It completely changed that for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just the coolest thing ever. Brains. They do it for ADD. They do it for OCD. They have so many people that go in and do these treatments, and it completely changes their quality of life. And like for me, another thing was I went to the doctor and they were like trying to give me a horse tranquilizer for my panic attacks and like antidepressants. I don't do medicine. Me neither. That's why when they gave me that script, on top of giving me the script, he goes, take these sparingly because they're extremely addictive. And I'm like,
no, I'm sorry, no.
Why would you prescribe me that?
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I'm like 21 at the time.
Oh, wow.
22 maybe. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to get addicted to anything. No. I got scared. Yeah. I literally went to my car and like never filled the script. I was like, no, I can't do this. So that's why I'm like, I have to figure out something else. And that's how I got into neurofeedback. That's how I learned about it.
Holy shit, that's crazy.
Yeah. But
I'm glad that intervention worked. I think what scares people is the price, but you're right. Once you get beyond the price, it's
quality of life.
It cured you.
It absolutely cured me, for sure. And when I don't feel like myself, the happiest version of myself, when I start to spiral, I go straight back to neurofeedback because it's like a workout.
And it's okay to have large gaps in between the practices. Oh, okay. I guess it's muscle memory too. Your brain already knows that.
Exactly.
Okay.
So when I go back, I'm like clear-minded for like the next 3 months.
Right. I love that. Maybe I'll try that next. I don't know.
It's so good. Your EMDR is working for you. Continue that.
I'm going to keep it. Yeah.
Absolutely. But
EMDR is covered under insurance.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Which is good. Yeah. I like it. So we'll see where that takes me, but I'm seeing a change, and I see that, I'm just seeing a change. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
like, I think I said that before. I'm connecting
It
better with
feels small at first.
Yeah.
Those progress shifts feel so tiny,
yes,
almost not even there.
yes,
But you'll start to realize it throughout your life that you're like, wow, I'm growing.
yeah,
I'm changing.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah. And one thing that resonated with me when you were sharing your story was like, to me, you're like a positive, bubbly,
Thank you.
consistent, always like that person. And
Yeah.
I think people see me like that too.
For sure.
But you know, there's like these darker sides to me. I mean, I'm using the word dark, but there's like these sadder sides to me that like it's a constant battle. And sometimes I look at my old photos and I'm like, of like me, my family members and my friends, and it would be a cute girl smiling, like it would be me, but I just knew I was kind of a shell of myself.
Inside.
Like
Yeah.
And that's another reason why I wanted to start this podcast, because I'm like, I know what I felt and no one could pick up on it.
Mm-hmm.
And unless I told people my story when I didn't always feel comfortable, then no one knew. So
Right.
I think like it's really important to be vulnerable and open. And I think
For
choosing to be vulnerable has helped me a lot, because I was always a person that just didn't want to put my weight on somebody else. Like I just didn't want people worrying about me.
Mm-hmm.
And I also didn't want people to interpret me differently. So I kind of just wanted to keep like how my impression of however they saw me the same. But that doesn't work all the time. Like we all need each other.
Absolutely. And the older I get, the more I realize like everybody needs community, and you cannot do this life by yourself. No. Absolutely not. Mm-mm. Because life gets really freaking hard at times. Yeah, and like, how are you going to pull through if you're by yourself?
No, we're not meant to do tough. That. Yeah. So, yep, I have got the chills, but like yes. So doing things like therapy and stuff are not signs of weakness to me. Like they're a sign of strength, especially if you're going to commit to it like you did. And like EMDR really is working. And I just think for anybody that's like curious about it, just be patient with it, because it doesn't make sense at first. I'm sure neurofeedback was weird too the first couple sessions.
And try telling people about this. Like they're like, okay, sure. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. Waste your money. Yeah.
Well, I think that belief system's out there too. Like whatever is going to make you feel better. Waste your money.
Right.
But I do believe that it helps. So I mean, I'm seeing a difference. So
it does.
I was looking at photos and I'm like, wow, like I have changed so much in myself. Like I just see a difference, and I'm like proud of that. And
you absolutely should be.
Yeah. And I want other people to know that so that they can be proud of themselves too. Because life is not linear. Finally, I'm okay with that.
It's tough because if everybody's telling you life is linear, for you to step out of that mold, you're different and you're not conforming, and that's weird.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. So I'm finally like getting to a place where this is my new me.
Yeah.
And it's just so funny, Natalie, because it's falling in a time like my student loans are done. So my 10-year commitment is coming up. Like it's all shifting like how I want it to almost, you know? Mm-hmm. So
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. What do you do that makes you happy?
So
in your day-to-day.
Yeah.
So curious.
This podcast does make me happy. The miserable part about this podcast is pulling the clips and editing. Actually, editing the podcast as a whole is not, I like that part, but it's like the marketing of the podcast that, I don't know. I think it's a screen time that fatigues me out, because it's so much screen time. And right now, at work. So, I have screen time at work. Then I come home and I feel like I gotta get this done. Sense. I think it's more screen time, because once I create something fun, I honestly rewatch my videos a bunch of times.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people do that, and people don't talk about that enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I do that.
It's a masterpiece. I have to keep watching it.
Yeah. So I do that. This brings me joy, and I go for walks all the time. I love getting 10,000 to 15,000 steps a day.
You go.
15,000 is like when I'm off, like I have right now, but like at least 10,000 steps. and just being outside and just I'll walk around this community like 25 million times and it's only a circle.
Yeah.
And I don't care if my neighbors are like, again. I don't know. I don't really need to go too far. I just need to get like
you
the
just
energy.
need to be outside and walk.
And I feel like once I'm walking for 10 to 15 minutes, my brain chemistry shifts. Like I could feel my body tension, like just kind of like relieve itself. So that brings me joy. And then like those are my two major things. And I go work out, and I do love the Montana method because it's like my close people there, right? So it's pretty consistent there. And you know what you're gonna get. The classes are fun, so you know what you're gonna get, but you also don't because the themes change weekly.
Right.
So I like that. It also challenges me a bit. I'm also not the most graceful female out there, so like I feel like Montana method teaches me how to be like a little bit more. It
kind of connects mind and body.
So I enjoy that, and then those are my three major things, truly. And then like just calling friends and seeing what everyone. I think when I'm around people, when I'm feeling dull or sad, the minute I put myself in like an energetic community, I change, and I think that's really important too. I also think it's important to know when to shut your apps off because I can be a scroller too. So I bought this thing called Brick. Have you ever seen the ads? It's like a little brick. I'll show it before you leave. And I have to tap it on my phone and it will block me out of my app so I can truly go live my life without interruption.
Oh, that is so cool.
And it works. And then I have to go back to my brick and unbrick myself.
Oh.
Because I want to be using the apps for the podcast.
Yeah.
I don't want to be using the apps to compare
just
my life
doom scroll.
And to feel like I'm behind. And,
yeah.
And I do think we're shifting into a new era of social media where people are branding themselves.
Yeah.
So people are using social media differently than we have in the past. And I think that more people are conscientious of how much social media doom scrolling is taking away from their life.
Yeah.
And I do feel like more people are getting out into the world more. Like, just
I'm so happy about that.
I think so.
I hope that is like reality. I really do. And the thing is, I feel like there's more information out there in the world. So like you're able to realize, okay, scrolling's not good for me.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's so new. If you really think about it, it has not been out for that long. And I think we're all learning together. Like, okay, we have limits. We have boundaries. We have a cap to like how much screen time we can actually digest before like fatigue, before like just like feeling icky.
Yep. And I also just think it takes you away from the people that love you the most.
Yeah.
I have seen clips of people's life and I'm like, wow, their life looks completely perfect. And like, these are just like 2 seconds, if that, clips
of their life. And that's it.
And it's like the most fun part. And it's like, and I like, it just doesn't deserve my full emotion thought process changing. So I'm really trying to be conscientious of it. Like, but I do want to create fun clips like this for my podcast because it's beneficial for things like branding and stuff. But I'm really trying to just kind of live away from out of my cell phone.
Good.
As much as I possibly can. Yeah.
Do you feel happy with like the community that you have, the friendships that you have?
Yeah.
Good. I think that's so important.
Yeah. And I've been working on that too because there were some friendships that, not ending any friendships by any means, but like just like being more intentional of the type of people I want to hang with, only because I know I want to keep leveling up. So like in order to level up, I really feel like I got to surround myself with people who are leveled up or they continue to level up. Like I really believe in that ladder too.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. You are who you surround yourself with. And literally my mom's told me that since I was born.
I know. Yeah. I know. My mom
so
too.
Yeah. And I got some really good advice. A lot of good advice from this guy named Bud. I used to work at Coulter Homes. That was like my first big girl job. And he was just so cool. Like he was this like 70-year-old man who surfed and still like dived and still sold homes. So like he was doing really well for himself, but also made a lot of time for like fun and sports and also made a lot of time for his family. Like those were like the main 3 pillars of his life. And like he had hard boundaries for everything. And he was very much aligned. And he was just, you look at him and you're like, are you 40? Like
That's
he looked
amazing.
great.
Right.
And so I'm like, he's somebody to learn from for
Yeah.
sure. And he would always like give me so much of advice. And I loved it. Like I truly love having friends who are so much older than me because I am such a little sponge. I'm like, tell me everything. Like,
Yeah.
how do I get the most out of this life? Because
Mhm.
you're here for a second. Truly, you're a blip in
I
this
know.
earth.
I know.
Enjoy it while you're
Mhm.
here,
Mhm.
you know? And so he would tell me to like surround myself with upwardly mobile people. And I think what he meant by that was like people who were ambitious, people who had something to work for, something to live for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like work their tails off, also had fun.
But also had fun. Yeah.
Right. And so I'm like, okay. And like the more I really leaned into that and like really started focusing on finding people that were like fun for me to hang out with, but like also were ambitious. I think that's where I had to like figure out who I really wanted to surround myself with, because now if I look at all my friends, we're all working towards something.
Right.
And
Mhm.
it's so fun to cheer each
Yes.
other on.
100%.
I had to leave some people behind in my past that like, and I think people outgrow each other.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have
Yeah.
to find the people who align with you the best.
Yeah.
And like you will be just fine. And that doesn't mean that like you hate anyone.
No.
Doesn't mean that you dislike them.
Right.
You just aren't close friends anymore.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Mhm.
So I think shedding of friends is something that like people don't really talk about enough.
Mhm.
And it's hard to do. And it's actually so heartbreaking to go through. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yeah. Mhm.
And it's so funny because no one ever really warned me about that.
No. No. And there's guilt involved there too, because
Yes.
you're just like, you're leaving a life you knew, and I don't know.
And you have love for these people at the end of the
Yes.
day.
Mhm.
For everyone you've made a connection with,
Mhm.
I think.
Mhm.
And it's just, it's hard to
100%.
move on.
I remember my friend, when I was a kid, she said like certain friends are going to be grandfathered in, and I'm like kind of like that, but it's kind of true because I don't dislike anybody. Like if you're once my best friend, you're still a friend to me, even though we're not in the
there's
same.
There's still love there.
Yes, 100%. So I do feel like, but I do know that like my hobbies have taken me to different friends, and you know what I mean? And then like my workspace friends, they're my workspace friends for like, you know what I mean? Like those are the right people for that aspect of my life. And I think that it's important, you know? I like talking about podcasts and health and wellness and being in that space. So I naturally get a high off of meeting people like you just described. Like, I don't care if they're 70 years old and teaching me. Like, they have so much. I want to learn from that. I went out for happy hour. It was a Montana Method happy hour last couple weeks ago. And a woman was telling me like, you got to be mindful of osteoporosis as you get age, and you need to, make sure you're weight training young. And we were talking about menstrual cycles and stuff. And I'm like, I was like a sponge for that moment. Cause I'm like, hold on a minute. How do I get ahead of this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've always kind of been like that. I've always kind of like, I remember my stepmom, and these are vanity things. So I recognize that. But my stepmom, young, always told me like, always work out. You never want, you always want to make sure you have strong legs, like toned legs. I'm like, okay. And then I never left me, but never bothered me, as in like I was looking at my body thinking I didn't, but I was like, what she meant is just make sure you're always strong. Yeah. And like that's gonna be important for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And I look at her now and I'm like, she looks like she's still in her 30s. So like, people are sending you messages and you're retaining them for a reason.
Yes, 100%.
And I always used to do those beach body CDs.
Oh my God, shut up. My mom and I used to do those all the time.
And it's just so funny. Like a Montana Method is like one of my favorite workouts. Because like I always liked the background dancers of the
Yes. 100%. It's so funny because when they do their VODs, I think of Balance Body.
Yeah.
Wait, is it Balance Body?
I think it is. Or Beach
Body.
Okay, yeah. I don't one of those, but yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah. I remember thinking, like, these people are so fit, and look at their bodies, and their movements are so nice and cohesive. And now it's like, we're those people.
And no, 100%, 100%.
Yeah,
it's so funny because I was asked to do a video on demand. I'm like, sure, and I told my mom. She's like, can we watch? It's so fun. I'm like, sure.
I know.
And it's no big deal. It's not like it's
I know it's still cool,
but it's so fun that we get to do that with them, and it's part of like them building their community.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah,
it's so
exactly. So like everybody levels up. So I guess what I mean by sharing all that is like, I want to be around people, or at least I feel energized when I'm around people that are having these conversations that are like, they're aware they're leveling up.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel safe to be like, these are my goals. Like,
yeah.
And what do you feel? And it's a supportive conversation, back and forth conversation.
Right.
You know, not all my friendships kind of had that back and forth, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But
do you feel like, because you're older than I am, so I feel like I can ask, like, do you feel like you've had cycles of shedding friends, or how have your friendships changed as you've gotten older?
My friendships have changed because my interests have changed.
Yes.
So, and I
totally,
think
I get
why
that.
my shedding was happening.
Yes.
Like, nothing bad
was
was
never
happening.
Super intentional. Right.
Never. But my interests have changed.
Mm-hmm.
And now when I reconnect with an old friend, when I was a different type of person, living a different type of lifestyle, I enjoy those moments of reconnection, but I leave kind of thinking to myself like, wow, we still don't have the same, like we still living on different fabrics right now, you know?
Yeah.
And that's okay. I think it makes you more dynamic, you know?
Oh, totally.
Yeah, so
I like
you are,
that
I
point
think
of
you're
view.
always going to change. And I think as life evolves, you know, and then like people start their families and stuff like that, you're going to meet different friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's normal.
I think it's so normal.
Yeah.
And I feel very comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think more so asking for Tyler, because Tyler's so loyal.
Okay. So it's so weird. I had, I think I have that.
You had a thought?
No, like that. I don't. Maybe I don't know which. I felt like it was going to be a Tyler thing, only because I see how loyal and connected he is to his like his homeboys, like his people, and I get that. But that doesn't have to change either.
Right.
I just think that like as you get older and you level up in your career and your professional side to you, and then you know. You meet new friends and different people dynamics evolve. Called to you. And I think it's fine. And I think it's okay to continue. Males are like a wolf pack.
Yeah. They kind of
Females are different. Like females are, and I love being a female because we understand the emotions of one another. So we have good talks, you know what I mean? And I feel like males kind of miss that mark when it comes to us. Yeah.
Truly. I would die if I was a man.
I don't know. I wouldn't like it either. But I do think that when males hear us talk, they're like, why is that a problem?
Right.
But when you're talking to another female, it's like you're getting validated, you're being heard, you're getting feedback. Yes. Yeah. So I do think that like I like being a female for that respect, but I think males are wolf pack, and I think that they're okay with their same group of friends because they are not talking the ins and outs and the gray spaces of life the way we are. They don't need that. Not all of them need that. But I do think Tyler is going to meet new friends and it'll just feel right. Yeah. Like, I don't think he should be saying,
that's what I'm saying.
No,
it'll feel right.
I have my friends. He shouldn't be following the philosophy, no new friends. I don't think.
Right. No, I fully agree with that.
Yeah.
No, I think that's so interesting. And I feel like, I feel like you feel more in a rut when you're also not evolving, I guess I should say. And as you evolve and the more comfortable you are with that evolution of your life, the more comfortable you are with changing groups of people in your life.
Yes.
And you know what I mean? Yeah. Because it just feels more true to you.
Yeah.
And I feel like at the end of the day, like that's the theme of my life. You just have to do what feels true to you.
Yes.
You know, like, because no one else is living this life but you.
I know.
You know, you owe nothing to anybody else but yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
so like
true.
just follow
your flow.
And
I think just always being a genuine person and honest
Yeah.
It's fine. Like
Yeah.
the sky's the limit.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So you'll shed your friends and not, it won't be in a bad way. Just life keeps changing and turning, and
Totally.
it's not linear. So it's
Right.
going to go the
Right.
way it's going to go.
And it's so funny because like my girlfriends and I were actually talking about like work. And right now, so I have a group of girlfriends. We are best friends, and 3 of them have fully like focused on career first, and then everything else in life will align afterwards. And like for me, I decided happiness first. I am so not linear, and I've always been the oddball. And now I'm figuring out my career, and thankfully it's aligning. Like, and my dad has always told me, like, do what makes you happy and the money's going to come afterwards.
I agree with that.
Don't worry about the money. Don't do anything for money. You do it because it makes you happy, and then you're going to be the best at it, and then the money will come after.
I agree with him.
So I've always followed that philosophy. And like, it's interesting to see that like now my friends, they did the career, they did the traditional thing first. And now they're like, I don't like this. This is not what I want to do. And like now it's them trying to find themselves, trying to figure out what they like, what to do. Yeah. And it's hard. It's so hard, especially because like you're at this point 30. And it's like, okay, now I'm trying to figure out who I am at 30. It feels awkward. It feels weird, you know? So I'm grateful that I didn't follow that linear path, more so because like I just wanted to do what felt right to me, but I got a lot of shit for it.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy, and I get a lot of judgment for the way that I live my life because I'm not your stereotypical like planning type of person. And it looks chaotic on the outside, but it makes sense. It does work out at the end.
I agree. And for your friend's life story, I mean, I'm similar. Like I followed the linear path, went to college, got a job, but I fell out of love with it probably around COVID. I mean, it just, when we returned back to work, I just didn't feel the same connection to it. Yeah. So for a decent amount of time, I really was living in alignment because this is what I went to school for, and I was loving it. Yeah. The thing is I think the best advice now, if I had to give somebody advice, would be if you're going to do it that way because it feels safe or it feels right, your parents are going to be happy. I get it. Totally. So if you're going to do it that way, make sure you are trying new things to develop hobbies that bring you joy. Sure. Because then your side jobs won't feel like you have to pick up a punishment. Like you have to work so many extra hours to make the ends meet. Like it won't feel like a punishment. It will like I don't feel like I work at my time. I know I work there, but it doesn't. I want to be there. I'm happy to be there. Yeah. Yeah. So I think when you find hobbies like that, you can I know. We can wrap it up.
No. It's not you. It's snowboarding. Oh, I fell on my ass too much that my tailbone's bruised. That's why I'm moving.
I forgot you did that. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Sorry. I cut you off completely.
Okay. But I think that if you're doing little side hustles, make sure that there's something that you truly like doing.
And
you never
agree
know
with that.
like what something's going to turn into.
It could turn into a full-time job for sure.
So like, I don't know, are they really finding themselves at 30, or have they just not tried enough to know what else they like? Right. I think a lot of people, and I say it all the time, I'm very happy that I like fitness because I don't think it's a punishment when I work out. Like you'll never hear me say, I have to work out. Like, I like it. Like I want to be there. I honestly rather go to work late because I want to work out. Like, you know what I mean? Just enjoy it. So I think that when you know what you like, it's easier for you to like feel like you're so far away from yourself. So you know, everything's scary. Everything could be scary if you make it feel scary. But I think that's what I wanted to say. If they're 30 and they don't know if they like working out, or if they don't like they need to try something. Yeah. Because you're never going to know. And everything's going to feel like a foreign object to you if you're not, like you just went snowboarding. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like most people maybe never try snowboarding. And and like you just did it.
Yeah.
So you did a little older to quote unquote. Like
For
some people
sure.
grow up snowboarding,
Right.
you know?
Oh
So
my God,
it's
these
never too late.
5-year-olds were shredding.
Exactly. So it's never too late. Like you have to give yourself a chance to
For sure.
call in like a new love.
And everything new is scary because it's new.
Because it's new.
100%.
And it's supposed to feel weird.
100%.
Mhm.
But like nothing that's worth it. Wait. It's not worth it if it's not scary.
Yeah.
Is
something
truly
like
what
that.
I think.
Yeah. Or it's not.
I think that's honest.
Yeah.
I know there's a quote, like a
there
real
is. I
saying
forgot it
outside.
too.
I have no idea what it is, but I think it's true.
Yeah.
I think it's fully true. Everything is scary in
Yeah.
life, and
I know.
it's never going to be worth it
No.
unless you try.
Yeah. I think we covered so much good stuff in this episode.
I do too.
It went all over the place, and
I know.
I'm happy about it though because it was like needed. It's good to have these talks.
I'm glad. I'm glad you enjoy my like scatterbrained
I do. I love
self.
it. My brain like follows the same flow, so it makes
Okay,
sense.
fun. I know. I ping pong a lot.
No, totally fine. I'm so happy you took the time to come be on the show.
No,
Thank
I'm
you
so
so
glad
much.
I did this. I appreciate it. It's like a little therapy session. It feels like.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
No. Thanks so much for listening to Tell Me Everything. I hope today's episode gave you a fresh perspective, a little inspiration, or just something that made you pause and think. If you enjoyed it, make sure you are following the show so we can keep the conversation going. And share it with anyone you think might love it too. I'm so glad you spent this time with me today. Until next time.